Hey guys, so today we will be converting between exponential and radical form. So that just means that either we have an exponent with a fraction or we are writing as an radical. So when we are in exponential form, we have some number or some variable to a power. And so that means the nth root of a, which we would write as the nth root of a. And that's whenever there is a 1 on top. Whenever there is another number on the top, we have the nth root of a raised to the nth power, which we can write like this, or like this. So those both mean the same thing. And so the only time you won't have a power there is when the fraction has a 1 on the top. So we're going to write each of these in radical form and then simplify if we need to. So on the first one we have a 1 on the top, so we're going to take the 4th root of x, and since we have a 1 we don't need to put a power on it. Number 2, we have 15n to the 1/2 power, which is a square root with 15n on the inside. Remember when we have square roots, that we don't have to write that 2 as the index. So whenever you're raising something to the 1/2 power, that's the same thing as taking the square root of something. And we have 24 to the 1/3 power, which would be the cube root of 24. So since it says simplify if needed, we're going to go ahead and simplify this, rewriting it with its prime factors. 24 is 12 times 2, which is 2 times 6, which is 2 times 3. So we've got 2 to the 3rd times 3, which means we can take that 2 out and leave the 3 on the inside. Now number 4, we've got 7 to the 2/3 power. So we have the cube root of 7 squared, which is the cube root of 49. And we have k to the 7/2 power, which would be the square root of k to the 7th power, which we can take some of those k's out. We would be able to take out 4 pairs of k's. Nope, sorry, that would be 8. We've got 7 of them, so we can take out 3, which would be 6 k's, leaving us 1 k left over. And then on number 6, we have 3 to the 5/4 power. The bottom one goes in the check mark, 3 to the 5th. And since 3 has a power of 5 on it, that's more than 4. So we can take out a group of 3's, and we would have 1 3 left over. If you're struggling with this simplifying, there are videos on how to simplify our radicals. Then on number 7, we have ab to the 3/4 power. Bottom goes in that check mark spot. And we have ab all cubed. Make sure that the whole thing is cubed, so both of them have a cube, or you could write it where both of them have a cube, and you separate it. Then on number 8, we have a negative 6x to the 3/2 power. Sorry, 2/3 power. So negative 6x squared. Number 9, we have 7 times 12w to the 1/2 power. So the 7 doesn't have that power. 1/2 power is a square root. So 12w goes in there. And 12 can be simplified. as 2 squared times 3. And since this is a square root, we're going to take out that 2, multiply by the 7, so 14 on the outside, square root of 3w. Now on the bottom, we are going the opposite direction. So we're writing them in exponential form, which means we want them to have an exponent on them, and we're given these radicals. So if there is a power on the number, then that power goes on the top of the fraction. If there is no power, then we have a 1 over whatever the index is. So on number 10, we've got 16 to the 1/3 power. Number 11, we have both x and y to the 1/2 power. Number 12, we have both 8 and w to the 1/4 power. So if there are two terms, make sure that you are writing those parentheses. On number 13, we have a power on it, so we're going to say that this is 11 to the 2/3. So remember that this number is the denominator, and this number is the numerator. On number 14, we have k to the 5/4 power. 15, remember the index here is a 2, so we have all of 3m to the power of 7/2. Number 16, we've got the 4th root of -2a to the 5th power, so -2a to the power of 5/4. On number 17, all of these have the 1/2 power applied to them, so we can say that this is 10 to the 5th, a to the 3rd, b to the 1/2 power. Or we can take those powers to those powers. So remember, a power to a power, we multiply those numbers. So this is 10 to the 5/2, a to the 3/2, b to the 1/2. And then same thing on 18. So this is going to be the 1/3 power. So we could say that that's the whole thing raised to the 1/3 power. Or we can take everything to that power. We'll say 9 to the 1/3, x to the 7/3, y to the 4/3. On this next page, we have some that are multiplying, some that are dividing. So I'm going to be doing a couple of these. So on number 19, we've got x to the 1/3 times x to the 4/3. So we have to remember our rules for exponents. Remember, when we are taking two numbers that are the same base, two variables, and they multiply, we're going to be adding their exponents. So this is x to the power of 1/3 plus 4/3, which would be x to the power of 5/3. And then it says to write our answer in radical form. So then this would equal the cube root of x to the 5th power. So then on number 21, we've got a fraction with our exponents. And so what we do when we've got a fraction with the same base is we subtract those. So we've got 5/2 minus 7/4, which 5/2 is 10/4. So we've got m to the power of 10/4 minus 7/4, which would be m to the power of 3/4, which written as a radical would be the 4th root of m cubed. And on 23, whenever we have a power to a power, we're going to take that power and multiply. So we've got 1/2 times 1/2, which would be 32 to the power of 1/4, and then written as a radical, we've got the 4th root of 32, which we can simplify. 32 is 2 to the 5th power, so this is 2 4th root of 2. On number 29, we have the cube root of v times the square root of v. So this is v to the power of 1/3 times v to the power of 1/2, which when we have the same base, we take those exponents and add them. So we've got v to the power of 1/3 plus 1/2, which is v to the power of 2 6 plus 3 6. So v to the power of 5 6. And then written as a radical, we have the 6th root of v to the 5th power. On 31, we've got this fraction, and so this is 4 to the 1st power over 4 to the 1/3 power. So this is 4 to the 1st power minus 1/3, which is 4 3/3 minus 1/3, which would equal 4 to the 2/3 power, which is the cube root of 4 squared, which is 16, which is 2 to the 4th power. So this is 2 cube root of 2. So then the remaining ones will be what you will turn in on Canvas. Make sure that you have them all completed, and then make sure that your name is on it. And then tomorrow we will continue with our converting between rationals and radicals.